Last time, we saw the awakening of the Super Saiyan God, and then a couple other Super Saiyan gods too. Now with a lot of our crew having ascended to the realm of gods, where can we go from here? We'll be exploring all that and more in this part 10 of What If Universe 6 and 7 were merged. Piccolo and Gohan continue their training with Merus, who actually resides on Earth temporarily. It's now under his jurisdiction too, and it's great because this way they don't have to leave the planet. Beerus has no desire to take Piccolo with him, and as for Gohan, he'd rather just stay here anyways. The other Saiyans all go to Beerus' planet though, but let's focus on Piccolo and Gohan's training for a bit. With Merus, this is actually really helpful because Gohan can tap more into his Super Saiyan God form, and Piccolo gains his own godly abilities. Merus can tell that Piccolo has some insane hidden potential locked away, especially with him being the fusion of, well, basically an entire planet almost. And once he gets access to Godly Ki, he might be able to become one of the strongest in the group again, if not the strongest. He got surpassed because everybody got Super Saiyan God, but seeing a Namekian with those godly powers could be interesting, especially if he might be able to get something for himself, his own new form perhaps. Merus thinks the power of every Namekian within him can boost him to insane levels. One thing does stick in Piccolo's mind during this training. With the whole idea of the Megaverse thing being confirmed with him, he wonders what else that's changed in the universe. Like, he knows the history of Namek, and a little bit about the Saiyans and what makes them different. But there must have been some pretty substantial changes too, and they also haven't met the other God of Destruction yet. They know there's two Kais and they met one God of Destruction, but Champa hasn't shown himself here. Piccolo and Gohan expect some big arrival and think that maybe they're gonna have to fight him when he comes here, but Champa actually doesn't cause any issues. He comes to Earth eventually, and asks them for one thing. He wants them to show him where the best places for food are. Piccolo doesn't eat food though, but as for Gohan, he at least can help Champa out, and Champa takes a liking to Gohan. Let's go back out into space for a bit, going over to where Hit and Granolah are. They've actually started working together, and have grown a lot stronger in the process. As mentioned before, Granolah's wish actually gave him a lot of Hit's abilities, including stuff like Pure Progress, allowing him to grow just as quickly as Hit. He actually prefers this method of growing stronger. Thankfully, he barely lost any time of his lifespan, and now he's actually growing through hard work. But what are they actually up to? They actually have a common goal right now, and it kinda plays into Granolah's revenge, but in a better way. Frieza and Frost's army both exist out there, and they've both been trying to revive their respective leaders. The thing is, they probably would have been successful. We probably could have seen Frost or Frieza come back. But it's not going to happen because these two are actively trying to stop those armies. First of all, one of the planets with Dragon Balls is Planet Cereal, and of course Granolah's going to do everything he can to defend it. And that's even if they find out that Dragon Balls are there. Of course they know about Namek and Earth too, and Granolah and Hit stop those forces pretty easily. This is basically what they've been doing most of the time. They also take jobs for stopping the Frieza Force too, because some of them are still out there causing problems, even though there's barely any of them out there. Same with the Frost Corps. It's great, they earn money, they grow stronger, Granolah gets to satisfy his revenge against the Frieza Force, and Hit gets to keep the Frost Corps off of him, since they kinda hate him now. And Hit still does take a bunch of jobs on his own here and there, while Granolah spends a lot of free time just chilling on cereal. The Frieza Force is still growing somehow, and at one point, Hit and Granolah tail one of their ships in space, trying to see where they're headed. Maybe there's a base somewhere that they don't know about. Maybe they're about to stop an attack on another planet. They won't know for sure until they get to whatever location they're going to. But the Frieza Force is just drifting aimlessly out in space, at least this ship is. Little do Granolah and Hit know, they're actually looking for strong powers to recruit people for their army, specifically to counter Hit and Granolah. And they end up arriving on some strange planetoid, with Granolah and Hit following close behind. The Frieza Force soldiers descend on the planet after detecting a strong power, excited to see what they might have found. But before they can do anything on the planet, Granolah and Hit descend down. Hit skips time and immediately appears in front of them, while Granolah is far away, also using time skip to covertly snipe people. Their teamwork is deadly, but they simply just knock everyone unconscious now because they want to get some info later on. Although they do leave one soldier awake, and that soldier's terrified to see Hit in front of him, so he spills the beans. So they didn't even know what this planet was. They're actually trying to recruit people. That actually makes a lot of sense. But what power did they detect here? They can't sense anything. It's not like there's Dragon Balls here either, and this planet is pretty worthless, so it's not like they're going to try to take it over. Could this planet be a trap, or were they actually here to find somebody? But nearby, Granolah hears someone yell out at him, and then he senses two strong powers approaching behind that guy. Granolah turns around, and not too far away, Oatmeal is able to pick something out. Granolah lifts Oatmeal off his eye to get a better look. And briefly, he's stunned in place from shock at what he's seeing, and he reacts quickly, activating time skip. Hit wonders why he's activating it. He skipped a full second ahead, just to get the jump on some people, and then he calls Hit over. Hit's also surprised at what he sees. Granolah instinctively reacted and tried to knock these people out, thinking that they might be threats, because right at first glance, he could tell that these three were clearly Saiyans. An older one with a tail, and then two younger ones, a guy and a girl, both without tails. Hit then pulls out a communication device, trying to contact Cabba because he does have his contact now with the Galactic Patrol. Someone else picks up though. It's Merus. Cabba isn't available at the moment. Hit says when Cabba's available, he should bring some of the Saiyans over. Specifically just the Saiyans on Earth. Merus says he can come there too. All the Saiyans are gone right now and he can't really contact them, but he can bring Gohan and Piccolo along with him. You know what? Hit says that's good enough. He knows Piccolo's pretty powerful, and so is Gohan. And Gohan is one of the Saiyans, so maybe he could do something about this. Granolah and Hit wait around. With the three Saiyans still being unconscious, Well, maybe Granolah shouldn't have attacked right away. They actually go out into space for a bit too, not sure of when they'll wake up, and not sure of when Merus will arrive. They orbit around Vampa until then, with Granolah monitoring the situation from up above, being able to see all the way down to the planet even from beyond it. The three Saiyans eventually wake up, looking confused, and Granolah is still unsure of what to do. But eventually Merus arrives with Gohan and Piccolo, and their ships connect. Gohan and Piccolo think this is pretty awesome. Obviously they were at Namek before, but space travel is just cool in general. So why were they called over here? Granolah explains the situation, and they can't believe what they're hearing. And Merus is a bit concerned too. There's more Saiyans out here? Are they Vegetan or are they Sadalan? Honestly, Granolah couldn't tell. He thought they were Vegetan, since they all seem to have tails at one point. But he wonders why the other two don't have their tails, and he honestly kind of panicked when he saw them. So they all drop back down on the planet together. First with Granolah and Hit encountering the other Saiyans. Gohan and Piccolo stay behind, just listening in, with Merus also doing some talking too. And once he gets a better look at them, he can immediately tell what's going on. They learn the names of these Saiyans, Paragus, Broly, and Kale. But Broly and Kale are the interesting ones. Paragus is just a Vegetan Saiyan, one of the ones that's purely from Universe 7. But those two, they did have tails at one point and they were forcibly removed. But from what Merus can tell, they're hybrids. The kind that he was theorizing about, the potentially Universe 7, Universe 6 hybrids. And it makes him wonder why their tails are gone. He could tell just by looking at them too. They might have some crazy power locked away. Paragus is honestly pretty confused here. He remembers seeing Granolah before, but then he disappeared. All of them just suddenly collapsed. Oh, yeah, Granolah's got to explain that. Well, he says the Frieza Force showed up and they were all knocked unconscious. But they took care of the Frieza Force. Hit side-eyes Granolah, but he couldn't really come up with a better lie. He completely forgot that he'd probably have to explain that. And Merus asks some more questions, and they find out that, yeah, Broly and Kale are actually rare Universe 6 and 7 hybrids. They're pure Saiyans, but hybrid in the sense that they're from different universes. Paragus is a Vegetan Saiyan, and their mother was a Sadalan Saiyan. King Vegeta had them sent away long ago, fearing their explosive latent power. Many other hybrid Saiyans did exist like that, but most died when Frieza killed the Saiyans and never got to reach their full potential. It was actually known among some of the Saiyans that some of the tail and tailless hybrids could be like that. Most were average Saiyans that just blended in with society. They were all born with a tail, and they acted mostly like Vegetan ones. But there was always this theory going around that maybe a hybrid Saiyan like that could be incredibly strong. Just like the theory behind how Gohan is so strong, as a hybrid between Earthlings and Saiyans. Frieza actually feared some of these Saiyans, although they don't know for sure, but that is part of the reason why he destroyed Planet Vegeta here. Paragus is pretty shocked to hear that some of the other Saiyans exist, including Vegeta, the prince, but he holds his tongue for now. They need to get off this planet first, and then once they find Vegeta, they can kill him. And they think that these three Saiyans might be allies, so they bring Gohan and Piccolo off the ship too, and Paragus sees another Saiyan in front of them. That one's apparently a hybrid too, although not a hybrid between Saiyans, a hybrid between Saiyans and Earthlings. And then there's a Namekian here for some reason, but Paragus is just buying some time for now. But seeing another Saiyan here actually infuriates him. And you know, there's two spaceships nearby. He could just steal one of them. If he just kills everybody here, he could steal the ship and find Vegeta somehow. He just confirms where Vegeta is and they say he lives on Earth, which is where they came from. That's all Paragus needs to know. He then turns to Kale and Broly and commands them to attack, confusing everyone there. Granolah and Hit are about to counter, but they actually go for Gohan and Piccolo instead. And honestly, they're not too concerned. It's just two Saiyans versus Gohan and Piccolo who are incredibly powerful. It's not going to be that big of a deal. But Merus actually is a bit concerned. If the potential of these two Saiyans are actually that high, this is really an issue. Gohan and Piccolo are confused as to why they're even fighting, but whatever, they can't do anything against it. Immediately, Kale and Broly show off a lot of power, and they're just in base right now. It actually kind of throws Gohan off guard. He goes into Super Saiyan right away, but that basically just evens the odds, while Piccolo shows his full power in base. Paragus is briefly shocked to see a Super Saiyan, but Kale's fighting Gohan right now and she's actually overpowering him, while Broly's fighting Piccolo and overpowering him. But amidst the fight, just like he feared, something snaps within them. An intense green aura surrounds them. They significantly bulk up too. At first it's just a simple wrathful form, but they're powering up rapidly. This is something that Paragus has actually seen before firsthand, and this is why he wasn't so scared of the Super Saiyan. He's actually seen the two of them transform before, and the only reason he's still alive today is because they actually fought each other. His children are equal in power, and while they did go berserk at one point, they stopped each other. Had it only just been one of them, he would have died here and this planet would have been gone. But he wonders how they're going to perform in battle here. Although, he is a bit concerned. Once they kill all these people, will they be able to nullify each other's power like last time? Only time will tell. Gohan immediately powers up into Super Saiyan God, while Piccolo wrestles Broly, and has a strange aura surrounding him too. Hit and Granolah are about to jump in, but then note that something's changing with Piccolo's power. And you know, Merus is rethinking this. It might be a good test for everybody here, especially because Piccolo's never gotten to use this in a real fight. Broly has grown a bit in size in his wrathful form, but then Piccolo starts growing too. And it's not just him going into his giant form, it's him just growing physically from a real transformation. A fiery aura surrounds him, creeping up his legs and then eventually his entire body. Broly is overpowering him at first, but then Piccolo overpowers Broly, headbutting him through the flames of his aura, with the aura dissipating around him. Piccolo stands there, larger, looking far more intimidating, and most notably, orange. He looks to Gohan and tells him not to hold back. This is definitely gonna get dangerous. Kale and Broly fully power up, with their hair then changing too. They change in size, and it almost looks like they're growing Super Saiyan, but something's different about it. They look completely berserk, and most notably, their hair is green instead of the normal golden yellow color. And Paragus is glad to see this once again. And now he's planning his escape. They'll kill everybody here, and then he'll guide Kale and Broly into fighting each other. They'll knock each other unconscious, Paragus will be safe, and then he'll bring them to Earth. It's good to kill everyone here because he doesn't want Vegeta knowing that there's more Saiyans coming. Piccolo tells Gohan they should swap opponents. He wants to see how Gohan performs against Broly now. Hit jumps in alongside Piccolo, with Granolah alongside Gohan. And Gohan asks Granolah. He can see different vital points in them, right? And Granolah said he's been looking, but their vital points are constantly changing. He's gonna test something though. He briefly time skips, trying to hit Broly in one of his vital points, just to see how effective it is, because maybe they could just take them out by hitting them there. But there's kind of an issue with this. While Granolah is strong, he's still pretty far behind Broly. And not to mention, Broly just seems completely unfazed by it in general, which is weird. These forms that they're using are actually exclusive to them, due to them being a mix of Saiyan and Vegetan Saiyans. For the sake of this what if, we'll refer to this form just as their Berserk form, and for both of them it's going to function just like Kale's did. But also we're taking elements from Broly here because they started in their wrathful state, and they completely skipped the regular Super Saiyan stage as well. I know I am going off on kind of a tangent, but I know people will have questions about this. So let's outline it here. These two do not have Super Saiyan forms. They have access to wrathful, but not consciously. And then with their full power they transform into this Berserk state. But I mean, call it Super Saiyan full power or legendary if you want, really makes no difference. Point is, they're Berserk, and they're really strong. Their power's constantly growing, and their power's maximum. Working together actually really does help though. Gohan in Super Saiyan God is obviously going to be really strong, and as for Piccolo, he's using the orange form but also with Godly Ki. The other Saiyans don't know it because they're all with Beerus, but Piccolo's actually surpassed them by now. He's even above Gohan. He unlocked the orange form in a different way. He got it through training, he never got that power awakened state, and he went right into this basically. It wasn't granted to him by Shenron like normal. It's the culmination of all his power as a fusion of Namek, summoning the power of the Dragon Clan and the Warrior Clan inside of him. If this were a one-on-one, he could easily beat either of them. But the issue is they've already grown in battle, and every time they're attacked they grow stronger. Piccolo doesn't realize that he should knock them down as quickly as possible, but eventually he decides that's probably the best course of action. They just need an opening to attack together. For Gohan it's a little tougher, and for Piccolo since they're facing two of them it's also tough. But Granolah and Hit have an idea. They've worked together for so long that now they have new ways to utilize their power. Hit then tells Piccolo to hold his hand. What? Hold his hand? Why? Why now? And Granolah tells Gohan the same thing. What are they doing? Why are they holding hands? And Hit explains. They've worked on their ability and can now control time way better than before. Their attacks personally won't do anything against Broly and Kale, but Gohan and Piccolo actually can do something. And if all they need is an opening, Granolah and Hit can create that. They can actually make Gohan and Piccolo time skip with them. They have much better control on time skip too. They can do it for up to 2 seconds now, and bring people along with them. So even though Piccolo and Gohan can't personally use time skip, teaming up with these two actually allows them to do so. But in those 2 seconds they need to act quick. They're brought into the time skip. Quickly, Granolah marks all their vital points, shooting at them. And with all their strength and speed, Piccolo and Gohan attack both Kale and Broly at once. On the outside, Paragus has no clue of what's happening, but Merus is actually conscious throughout all of it, with Granolah and Hit not even knowing that he's watching. And after those 2 seconds are up, Broly and Kale just suddenly collapse in front of Paragus. What happened? They were doing so well just a second ago. Paragus is apprehended by Merus. They're not actually arresting him, they just want him to calm down for now. To be fair, they've been here alone for decades, so maybe they just went a little crazy. Hit asks Gohan if he's ever seen that form before. He is a Saiyan after all, so he should know about that, but Gohan has no clue of what that was. He's a hybrid Saiyan too, but not like them. His own rage does make him grow stronger, but he's never accessed a power like that, and never gone fully berserk like them either. Are all hybrids prone to this? Or is it just those type of hybrids? And that form they showed, what even is that? Gohan's actually a bit curious, and they all wonder what to do next. Gohan does feel a little bit wrong about just leaving them here too, and they're obviously not going to kill them. That's pretty much off the table for Gohan. He knows how those two seemed pretty gentle before. Kale and Broly were pretty reserved until Paragus told them to attack. So maybe they could bring them back with them and see if they can control that power somehow. Piccolo's a little bit unsure about this, but Merus actually thinks it's a great idea. Also because he kind of wants to learn about these Saiyans too, being hybrids between Universe 6 and 7 after all. He notes that it's kind of similar to Piccolo's case. Piccolo is basically a hybrid between Universe 6 and 7 Namekians as well, and that explains his insane potential now. At least partially. Who knows what lies ahead for them? Meanwhile on Beerus' planet, all the Saiyans are still training together obviously, completely unaware of what's happening with the other Saiyans. They even get Super Saiyan Blue at some point pretty quickly too. And of course, Champa also visits at some point as well, interested to see what's going on. By now, they all know of the Universal Merge, and they know that there's another God of Destruction and everything, so this isn't too big of a surprise. But amongst themselves, the Saiyans are curious. They wonder if either Saiyan is inherently advantaged. The Saiyans grow quicker, but Goku and Vegeta are prodigies in their own right, so they grow pretty quickly as well, even as Vegetan Saiyans. Kappa and Goku are actually ahead of the other two due to having more S cells from their peaceful lives, which they don't even realize, while Caulifla's keeping up because she's a Saiyan, and Vegeta's just a prodigy in general. They're all pretty much on the same level, and wonder where their training will take them next. But of course, this episode wasn't focused on them, so we'll save a lot of that for next time. This is where we'll leave off for now. What'd you guys think about this part? What's going to happen next time? Especially with Broly, Kale, and even Paragus, I guess. Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to see more parts of the series, or if you just want to help the channel out because it shows me you want to see more like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.